Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, happy Friday, my beautiful coffee beans. It's so good to see you this beautiful morning. Come on in, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and sit down and enjoy yourself for a little minute. TGIF. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm having allergies. My allergies just never seem to ever stop. But we're here. It's not quite cold yet. I have a funny feeling tomorrow and Sunday, Florida is going to feel like icicles from what I'm hearing. I don't know how cold it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be quite as cold as the last snap we had, but I'm kind of expecting something coming in because it's overcast. It looks a little rainy outside. It's kind of, you guys know how it is. I went out and got the rest of my shopping done yesterday, and of course I forgot 2 major gifts that I needed to purchase, and so I'm not quite ready for Christmas. However, with that being said, we have every year we do a Christmas wrapping, kind of like we are all procrastinators. Life kind of kicks us in the rear end sometimes, so we kind of lean on each other to keep ourselves accountable. And so this is just one of those things where we just lean on each other to keep ourselves accountable, right? And we're going to be doing a gift wrapping live. We're just going to I can't even remember what we talked about last time. Did we talk about a true crime case? Did we just kind of shoot the breeze? I can't remember, but it's kind of like majorly low mind thought. We're just kind of together and we're just chatting together. That's basically it, okay? And we're wrapping gifts together. That's what we're doing, okay? So if you guys would want to be a part of that, I know that somebody had recommended like December 20th. Not only is it just tomorrow, Saturdays are never good for me because I never know when I'm going to be home on Saturday. Saturdays are my pup's time. It's her play date. It's a standing every Saturday. I'm over at my best friend's house. We let the dogs play. We kind of hang out together, get caught up on the week, just have some flower power time. And so Saturdays are never good. So the question would be, do we want to do it Sunday or Monday? I really don't want to push it Tuesday. I'd like if people want to be involved in the gift wrapping, then let's do it either Sunday or Monday. If Sunday or Monday and everybody does agree, like let's do Tuesday, then I'll do Tuesday. But I think I think the 21st or the 22nd. I really don't want to move it to the 23rd. It's just it's too late. I think 21st or the 22nd, I think is reasonable. We can get away with it at that point. Some of you guys may already have your gifts already wrapped under the tree. I made sure my gifts aren't wrapped. The ones I'm getting, I did get, Karen, I don't know what the hell you were thinking. How much did that package cost? I just want to ask. How much did that package cost? My neighbor's like, what the hell is in the big package? I'm like, I don't know. It's a gift. I said, I haven't opened it yet. Well, it's pretty stinking heavy. I said, all I know is it's Christmas gifts. I don't know what's in the package. I said, I haven't opened it. I heard that all the gifts inside of it are wrapped. I don't know. I'm just keeping everything in the box. I went to move it in the living room. I'm like, good gracious, what that? She had to have spent more on the shipping than she did on the stuff. Probably not, but still, it had to been high shipping. Anyways. I digress. So it's nice to see you. I'm going to start off with with our vertical chat first. So Phil, it's nice to see you. Hot damn. Hello, Spicy Disaster. It's nice to see you, ladies. I hope you guys are all doing well this morning. And of course, we have our main chat. And of course, the people that are over there just chilling, we have about 28 in the vertical chat. So thank you all for being here in the vertical chat. Good morning. I don't want to leave you out. I know you're probably just getting ready for work and what have you. We're going to be getting started very, very soon. We got a lot, quite the bit on the lineup, and we'll go through our show outline in here in just a second. So good morning, vertical chat. It's nice to see you. Eeyore Blues, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Melanie up in the chat. Denise, good morning, saying hello and happy Friday. It's nice to see you. Lisa B. Always, it's nice to see you. Jekyll and Hyde, YouTuber, it's nice to see you. Ruby, it's always nice to have you, honey. I hope you're doing well. Daisy Duke, it's nice to see you. Let Them 66, big hugs and love. It's nice to see you. YouTuber, I think I said hi to YouTuber. I believe I did. It's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Phil migrated on over here. Our beautiful Sonia is up in the chat. It's nice to see you. Vicky, good morning. Mama, it's nice to see you. Amelia, good morning. Our beautiful groovy gal grooving us away on a Friday. Oh, good gracious. Okay, I'm trying to push our days along. We don't want to move it. We're getting too close to Christmas. We need to... Whoa, horsey. Whoa, slow this down. Slow it down. Slow it down. Where's my jail? There's my jail. Slow it down. Slow it down. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Who else do we have? Cheyenne, good morning. It's nice to see you. Michelle, good morning. Hello. Hot damn is in the chat. It's nice to see ya. Hot damn. Followed by life interrupts. Hot damn, life interrupts. Okay, there we go. Where's my mystery button? There. Well, good morning, ladies. It's nice to see you. We got our faithful Nightbot typing away there. I think we got all ya. All right. Oh, Periwinkle Moon, Jenny. Oh, there's a few more. Hold on, it just popped up on me. I thought we were done, and then it popped up, and then a gajillion other people just popped in. So I apologize. I guess we're not quite done yet. I just seen Jenny. Good morning, Jenny. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Peggy. Who else? Sassy girl. Periwinkle Moons. It's nice to see you. Hope Floats. It's nice to see you. Good morning. It's nice to see you. Okay. Yay. All right. So we have quite a little bit to go over today. Some of it's political, some of it true crime. Most of it's true crime. Yeah, most of it's true crime. We have a couple celeb stuff in here. So it's broken down into about 5 different segments. We're going to be talking about Tucker Carlson on a couple different fronts. Tucker Carlson had this weird speech at the Turning Points USA event. The AmFest, I think is what it was called. And I don't know. I'm kind of, looking raise my eyebrows a little bit, saying, what did Tucker Carlson say? And so, hey, Mama Barrington, it's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. Oh, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday is Delilah's day. Absolutely. It's, because she's a puppy. She sits around here all day long with me working, and she's a puppy, right? So she wants my attention, and I try to play with her here, and, we go outside to play ball and all this other stuff, Aw, thank you, Daisy. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way in or on your way out. West Virginia Holly Girl, it's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. And so she sits here, so I try to go, take her out and run her and play ball with her so she can play. I'm her only friend, okay? So if I don't play with her, she doesn't get the puppy play. So I just feel kind of bad for her a little bit because she's here with me all day, and we do go out and we get some exercise and we play, but she doesn't get to play a whole lot with other animals, So it's like the Saturday really is her day, and it's like the only day out of the week that really just truly belongs to Delilah. I mean, it belongs to me too because it's my break too. It's the one day that I get to just walk away from the house, walk away from the true crime, walk away from the politics, because my best friend's not in any of that. Believe it or not, she don't give a crap about true crime. She doesn't watch the channel for true crime, okay? She's not political by any stretch of the imagination. So everything I am, she is not. So it's a break for me too, okay? I won't lie. It's a break for me too. Just to go over there. But the Saturdays are just, I try to do things. I do things very early in the morning because we just weren't even talking on Saturdays. So I started, coming here for an hour or two early in the mornings before I even leave the house so I can at least say hi to you guys and we can have some chats of any, breaking news and stuff like that. But Anyway, so the first segment of today's show is going to be about Tucker Carlson and the TPUSA speech. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad speech. It wasn't a divisive speech at all. It was just a shocking speech, and we'll go over that. And then there's some other news that Tucker Carlson might be putting a bid in to buy CNN, which is like, I mean, we know that mainstream media is tanking, okay? Because they keep lying to us. We don't lie. You're such a good mama. Well, I mean, I just try. I even massage. Like at night, I make sure she gets massages where she yawns. I hear from dog psychologist. I watch a lot of stuff. I don't take her to. I'm not a foo-foo mom, okay? I don't take her to psychologists, but I do watch some things, and they're like, they get stressed out too. And trust me, we're here by myself. So when I'm frustrated or I see something, I'm cussing, okay? And I'm yelling. I'm screaming at my TV, or my computer, and she's hearing all this, so she gets a little stressed because, during the day I'm like, for F's sakes, can you believe this horse? And I'm like, I'm not talking to you, sweetie. I'm not talking to you. I always gotta go over there and make sure she knows I'm not talking to her, right? Because I'm here working, okay? Work when you work alone, it's very loud, okay? And when your employees make a mistake, you still yell at the employees, okay? Even though the employees are you, and you still yell at yourself. I'm just saying. It is not easy. It's not easy. No, I'm joking. Oh, hey, Southern Grammy. It's nice to see you, love. Oh, hey, unicorn. Good morning, guys. I hope you're doing well. Good morning. So, anyways, we try. I just like the Saturday. The Saturday is a good break. It's just a nice break, where I go over there, we cook, we just kind of, you just break. It's just a break. Anyways, so Tucker Carlson made this weird speech for TPUSA. I'm not a fan of the speech. I will be honest with you. I've been kind of side-eyeing Tucker here lately. Like he's gone really anti-Israel, just for whatever reason, which just does not bode with my ideology, okay? I am never going to get on board. I'm sorry. Until the Quran is burned, I'm never going to get on board with Islam, okay? I'm just not. Until they stop the militant in their religion, what they consider religion. I don't consider a religion. I'm just not going to get on board with it. I'm sorry. People can call me whatever you need to call me that makes you sleep well at night. I don't care. I just, that's my line in the sand. So, whatever. Hey, Michelle, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. So, but the CNN thing is pretty interesting. And then, of course, we're going to be taking a little bit more of a deeper dive into the JonBenét Ramsey case so you guys understand. I know we kind of did surface level yesterday, but you guys didn't really understand, or we didn't really go over with what new information is being done. So I pulled that up for you guys. Brown University, as you guys know, there's a lot of breaking news in Brown University. Okay, the suspect has been identified. There's another body associated with the suspect in the Brown University shooting. He is not from this country. He is deceased. He found deceased in a storage unit. And we'll be going over all of that breaking news information here in a little bit. Many people had already identified that this MIT professor that was murdered may have some links to the Brown University. And of course, law enforcement tried to tell us, no, it didn't. And then all of a sudden, yes, it did. And then it led us to who the person was, the person that ultimately took his own life. Well, we'll get into it. We're going to go over, and we have a little more in-depth information on Rob Reiner and Nick Reiner. And then finally, to close out the show today, we're going to put a toe, just a little toe, into the Sebastian Rogers case and some updates in that case as well. And the reason why we are CRC, can't remember crap. yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Yeah, I think Tucker has drifted a little bit. And I think that there is reasons why he did. And I think he allowed his personal beef with something that happened to him override his good judgment. Like, I feel like he's scorned, okay? One thing I can't stand about a lot of people, it's just my personal, now granted, I'm sure it doesn't affect you guys like it affects me, any stretch of the imagination, and that's fine. Hey, Jacqueline, it's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. It's the vindictiveness. It's, I didn't get my way, the whole JLR to Seth Rogers bullcrap, okay? That's the stuff I can't stand in politics, okay? Where you get your feelings hurt and then you just flip the script. You know what I'm saying? I hate the vindictiveness. And I feel like in the situation where we have Tucker Carlson, I feel like it's vindictiveness, kind of like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like the whole beef, her turning brown coat, her turning to a traitor and stuff like that for the MAGA movement was vindictiveness. She did it to herself because she was angry with Trump. And it's like they can't control themselves. They're so arrogant. They only think of themselves, narcissistic, if you will. In many, and we find these things out because the one characteristic of a narcissistic person is their ability to kind of be a chameleon, if you will, right? I think that that's a fair assessment. What makes narcissism and narcissists thrive is their ability to be kind of chameleons. Yeah, and she's doing the same thing, and they're from the same camp too. You know what I'm saying? And what had happened to Tucker Carlson, remember, he had a really good gig on Fox News, and he was basically untouchable, and he was able to talk about the stuff he wanted to talk about on such a large, grand scale because of the way he set up his contract. Very, very smart guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tucker Carlson is by far a very, very smarter than Bullhorn Betty could ever imagine being. Okay, I would strive to have a brain transplant with Tucker Carlson, and he's really a smart dude. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this guy whether he's a smart dude or not. The problem is that he got the shaft and he was booted. And I think it was President Obama's doing for some of the commentary that he was saying at the time. And I think that's what got him the boot. But the problem being is that he was pro, Israel. And then there were some things. There's been a big beef with Benjamin Netanyahu. It's not necessarily, in my opinion, that the beef is with the Israeli people or Israel as a country. I think it's the representation is where some of the issues had come. But either way, I think Tucker Carlson is so vindictive because he expected, I think, more or Israel to step up for him personally during this time, and maybe they didn't. And then there were some other things that happened because many people don't realize how much control Israel does have in the United States. We are very, very much allies. We also have a lot of control in Israel as well. So we have a lot of pressure in Israel. Israel has a lot of pressure here in America. That's just kind of how it works with those two nations, with our nation and theirs. And so I think that there was a huge fallout with Tucker and some other people with Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu specifically. And that was the catalyst that kind of brought this statement in the TPUSA. I'm not going to play the TPUSA statement. You guys can go see it. You guys can clip it yourself. But he talks about basically Islam and the good people of Islam. Now, and understand, I do believe there are good people that are not, crazy, insane people that want to, America, just normal people that are in the Middle East that are just trying to survive and stuff like that. I truly do believe that. Hey, Croy, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Mama Bear, good morning. It's nice to see you. And so, but the problem is that their religion prevents them from doing anything about it. And that's where the problem I have comes in, okay? It's not that I don't believe there are great Muslims. I know great Muslims. But if your religion calls for people like me to lose their life, and it calls for nice Muslims like you not to report it because it's against your religion, well, there's our problem right there. I'm not saying that you're not a good person, but by failing to report a crime, or by failing to report this ethnic cleansing or something like that, and it being a violation to your religion, and therefore you will not, because you don't want to violate your religion, you can't be here either. Okay, we're not saying that you're not good people. We're saying that your religion has now dictated that you cannot be here. You cannot be around other people like us because your religion calls for the execution of us. You can't report it, even being a good Muslim. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at in the whole situation. But he was pro. This statement that he made was, it seemed to be almost like a pro-Islam framing. And so it's driving some controversy among, from my understanding, among TPUSA people. I got to tell you, it raised my eyebrows just a little bit, but I think it raised other eyebrows a lot more than it raised mine. And so there is some talk on Twitter. I saw it myself this morning about these statements about, trying to get things working together. And unfortunately, in the where I'm at, we're not going to be able to do that. And not only that, but I think Charlie Kirk was very, very clear on his convictions about Islam. Okay, and this is his organization, and this Tucker Carlson is somebody that I can tell you Charlie Kirk highly regards and highly regarded. So I'm kind of shocked that statement was, not that he wasn't allowed to have his First Amendment right on it to me countered the message that we've heard from Charlie for quite some time. And I'm just curious as to why he went through, with that particular type of speech. Has he sold? I don't know if he has. See, I feel like there's a piece of me that feels like Tucker Carlson is uncorruptible, but with the way that he's talking right now, and it totally counters my beliefs and ideology and stuff, especially with the Middle East and what they want to do. Because I study this stuff. I mean, I don't expect you guys to know. You think of them as human beings, and that's good. But these people, to be honest with you, it's hard to explain. But most of them, they're not here because they love our country. They're here because they want to take it over. Okay, you understand that? Like their whole sole purpose of traveling here from the Middle East was to procreate and to eventually take over our country. And that's where a lot of people aren't understanding and why these people are so bold and why they're doing the stuff they're doing, say in Texas and, some of them in Dearborn, Michigan and stuff like that. They're doing that because they want to show force. And this is a problem. This is a huge, huge problem. So I don't know how this is going to be, but I'm just a little sticker shocked is all. That's all, because of who Charlie Kirk was, who TPUSA is. I follow Charlie. I've heard many of his statements. I've heard many of his statements specifically related to Islam. So that's kind of my only concern. But there is an uproar. So I'm hoping that this doesn't, because Candace has almost divided the MAGA movement over this nonsense. And she hasn't been successful, but she almost did. And people are finally seeing her for the con that she is. Her own base is starting to turn on her, which I figured would happen. But there are a few people kind of sounding a lot the same. Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson. These are some big hitting people that had some major support for our president. So my curiosity is Tucker Carlson even on board with President Trump or the MAGA agenda anymore? Because sometimes, and that's going to really decide how we're going to be speaking about Tucker Carlson moving forward. But the man's a very wealthy man. He's done very good for himself under the MAGA movement. You know, we've given him a lot of leeway to be the man that he currently is today. And trust me, without the MAGA movement or Donald J. Trump, I don't think Tucker Carlson would have been noticed in the way that he was noticed at the end of the day. But, you know, he does have a bid, from my understanding right now, with CNN. This is quite interesting. So we're going to steal just a little bit of Benny here this morning.
Year ever, Fox News completely dominating in the golden era because people don't like being lied to. Remember then this dude shot up NFL headquarters in New York, not too far from where CNN's building is. Well, CNN called him a white male. You can get people killed doing stuff like that.
And you can get people killed doing stuff like that. But, you know, CNN is irresponsible. They have not been reporting news to the American people for over a decade. They've been reporting propaganda, okay? That is all CNN has been useful for here, in my opinion, is the propaganda. Tulips, Blue Wolf, it's good to see you. What are they trying to do is create a sleeper cell. Yeah, I think so. Something. That's exactly what they're doing. I agree. That Blue Wolf, yeah. Yeah. And it's concerning because, you know, now we're starting to hear from people that we trusted for a long time that are now guiding us off a cliff over vindictiveness. Okay, it's getting hard. Has Tucker Carlson been sold out? Is he bought and paid for now? You know, he had to sink or swim, guys. So you got to remember, when he was with Fox News, I trusted his reporting because he had a contract that was almost unbreakable. Clearly it was breakable. But, you know, and it gave him the ability to speak about anything he wanted without the influence of the board of directors of Fox. He had complete creative control over his channel. That is an amazing contract to have in any network, okay? I know I don't expect you guys to understand that, but people like me understand the importance of that. And why I have my own show is because I don't want anybody telling me what I can and cannot say. It's one of the reasons why I've never ran for office, right? Because as soon as you run for office, your First Amendment goes out the window. I will never change my stripes, okay? What you see is what you get. My mouth will stay the same. So it's whether I choose to represent my county on one side of the aisle or the other that keeps me with the good graces of the Lord and the law. So I'll stay on that side. Okay. I'll stay on that side. I'll keep pushing my people through, but I'll stay on that side. So let's listen to this.
You remember when they said it was mostly peaceful, fiery, but peaceful protests? There's CNN for you. And who can forget when Erin Burnett traveled to the Israeli invasion of Gaza and stood directly in the path of a slow-moving tank and claimed that she was in danger as the tank slowly put a little cloud of sand and dirt over her. Yes, it's not like you could move anywhere else in that gigantic field you're standing in as the slow-moving tank rolls toward you. Speaking of somebody who has tanked their life and career, Volodymyr Zelensky, in a famous CNN interview, being asked by Erin Burnett some of the toughest questions we ever heard in journalism.
As a human being,
so many people look up to you. They rely on you.
Oh.
Okay, I'm not going to listen to that. He might be able to get away with it, but he's got people that pay his salary. He doesn't need to be... I don't know if that music is going to kill me or not.
CNN's Trump supporters chanting over CNN's live shot.
Iowa and North Carolina are really states that should be in the bag for President Trump right now. That's an indication as to how much trouble he's in politically right now, Wolf. And as this crowd is chanting that there are members of the press here who suck, I should also point out, Wolf, what also sucks, getting the coronavirus.
You got him, Jim. You got him, boy. Man, howdy. You really fucking...
Oh, those are the good old days, okay? Those are the good old days. I tell you what, during the era, like, I was out on the streets protesting. You are not masking me, folks. I'm sorry. You're not masking me. They try to put a freaking curfew on... Manatee County politicians try to put a curfew on Bullhorn Betty. I just want you guys to think about that, okay? They try to put it on the whole damn county, but I ain't worried about the damn county. I was worried about me. How long do you guys think that lasted? I just want to ask you, okay? You guys have a lot to say about Bullhorn Betty out there. All these hate channels out there got a lot to say. But let me ask you, how long do you think they had Bullhorn Betty in mask or Bullhorn Betty checked up in her freaking house and under a curfew? Raise your hand if you know how long. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. They put it in place without me being there. I tell you, within 2 weeks... 2 weeks. I don't even think it was two. It's literally the next meeting. It was gone. Okay? No forced masks. No forced curfew. It was gone. Okay? It was gone. I try to curfew. I curfew the whole damn county. I wasn't worried about the county. I was worried about me. Like, excuse my language, but bitch, please. Okay? No. Oh, good gracious! Back in the day, those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. But I gotta tell you that I think that's when you got to see who had what it took. Okay, I really do. I believe the COVID era, you got to see who had what it took, because they tried like hell to make us so fearful. I never put a mask on my face. I never took an injection in my body. I was around upwards of 2 million people. Upwards of 2 million people. I have never caught COVID. I've never been sick. I wouldn't even let them test me. I didn't trust our government. You are not getting near me with anything. Okay? Because I truly believe the swabs that they were putting up your nose was infected. I think they were intentionally infecting people. I'm just telling you how I felt. Like, they weren't touching me with shit. I did not go to the doctor. I did not go to the hospital. Doctor away. I had my steel cross, my crucifix. I had my garlic. I had my silver, and I had my wood stake. Like, stay away. Stay away from me. Get away. The only people I wanted to be around was my Trump people. I went out. I had the best time at all the rallies. But anybody else? If you were a doctor, stay away from. Get the hell away from me. Okay. Yeah, those were the only people I stood 6 feet away from. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say that now? Am I allowed to say that now? You guys know that's funny. The 6 feet were for the doctors, not for the people. And I told everyone, if you go into the hospital, do not let them put you on a ventilator. It was 100% you were gone, okay? I don't care if you can't breathe. You keep not breathing, okay? You keep not breathing. Don't let them put you on. I'm telling you, and I'll still tell you to this day, don't let them put you on that steel lung. You will never come off. You will never come off. And a lot of people, they fought it. They listened to the doctors. I would never listen to the doctors during that time at all. I would not listen to the doctors. The only doctors that I would even remotely talk to were the ones that I sat next to at my meetings. That's it. Those are the only people I trusted. All right, so let's get back to here. I want you guys to hear this sale of the CNN.
Anderson Cooper makes $18 million a year. Anyway, it's all insane. And now it looks like Tucker Carlson may be taking over CNN. Oh, boy, howdy.
What?
So the background here is that CNN is for sale again. Warner Brothers spinning it off again. Warner Brothers is about to be bought, and they don't want CNN. Nobody wants that smoke, right? And so Tucker Carlson was asked, like, hey, why don't you run CNN? Why don't you do it? And his response.
I mean, he does have the experience. I mean, he knows. I mean, he built a great brand with Fox News, right? And the one thing I found out is the crazy people that want to control minds and bodies and souls and, of course, power and money, right? They were always getting into the teaching positions and the news positions. And I found that funny. So, you know what? In order for us to combat that, the sane versus the insane, we need more sane people getting involved in education and more sane people getting involved in journalism. Okay, that's what it tells me. Is this a great move? I think this would be a spectacular move if Tucker can pull it off. I mean, being an anchor, having a segment is much different than running an organization. Okay? Running an organization is a very tedious, complicated job to do. If you can imagine trying to, and of course it's the top-down approach, right? You have your lead, then you have the people that work under them that delegate the responsibility to, you know, the staff under them and so forth and so forth. So it, you know, this is what we want to do. They tell them what you want to do. It's these people's responsibility to figure out how to get the job done and to delegate those responsibilities to their people in their departments and what have you. So you have a lot more responsibility and a lot more people relying on you than you do being an anchor or having an hour segmented window, you know, in a prime time slot. So is he ready for this? You know, I think, again, he is probably one of the smartest people I've had the privilege of getting to know. Not getting to know, but to know. You know, I've met him before. I wouldn't say that I've had much of a conversation outside of asking him one or two questions in a journalistic stance, you know, but I don't know. I think now if he's going to strike, now he needs to strike, because I think as he starts going with more pro-Islamic talking points, I have a funny feeling there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to organically fray away, you know, like me. I frayed away. I used to be Major Tucker Carlson. I haven't watched Tucker Carlson in years, you know, so I'm one of those people that, you know, was hook, line, and sinker on just about every word. I started seeing him turn years ago. It just didn't go with my makeup, so I just kind of stopped watching him, and really haven't been back. Even with his podcast and everything else, I haven't watched him. I haven't really supported him at all over the last several years. So, again, where is he going to go? You know, and again, Tucker Carlson, for those that are coming in for our first segment, we went over to Tucker Carlson. I'm going to let you listen to just a little bit more here, and then we're going to move on to our second segment. But Tucker Carlson spoke at the Turning Points USA event, and it ignited backlash after remarks were made, interpreted as sympathetic to Islamic governance and critiques of the West. So now here's why this matters. Tucker Carlson is not just a commentator. He's a media power broker, whether people like it or not. His audience rivals cable news networks when he speaks, and narratives shift. Key discussion points. Why conservatives are split on this speech. Why legacy media seized on framing. And the difference between, you know, cultural critique versus ideological endorsement. And I you know, I'm not saying that Tucker Carlson doesn't have his rights to speak freely about the topic if he has changed his his talking points, because I can tell you he was not a pro-Islam person years ago. I can promise you that, okay? So where did the change come from? And is this an ideological endorsement versus a cultural critique? And I think that that's where we need to ask ourselves when it comes to Tucker Carlson. And unfortunately, I felt more like it was an ideological endorsement versus a cultural critique. And then, of course, its persistent rumor is kind of being confirmed that Tucker Carlson could be involved in acquiring or influencing the purchase of CNN. CNN has changed hands and leadership repeatedly over the last 25 years, folks. So we've had multiple CEOs, frequent editorial overhauls, identity confusion post-Trump era. The real question is not, will Tucker buy CNN? The question is, why is CNN so vulnerable to speculation at all? Rating collapses, audience trust has eroded to a abysmal nothing, and there's no consistent ideological lane. This is less about Tucker, but more about the collapse of the institutional media credibility. Will he be able to save it? Might be me. My end's showing, it has to be you, babes, because my end is showing excellent. Let me look on my, I'm showing excellent on both streams right now. So it looks, but I'm also not running a whole lot of video either. I made sure that all my stuff had low commercials and other things that could bog my system down this morning. I've really tried hard. So we had a good, consistent, well-rounded live show today, both vertically and horizontally. I wanted to make sure that we had some talking points, not just our normal talking points, but I want to talk about some other things that are important to us. We're in true crime. I think our nation and our pursuit of safety in this nation is paramount to this channel. I think it goes to the safety, it goes to crime, it goes to a lot of things. And of course, a little bit of the entertainment stuff. We don't really, some of these people are more high profile than, some of our crime cases. So they have, more name recognition, if you will. But it's definitely interesting. But we've had a lot of CEOs, and again, just I think our mainstream media, at least what I've been talking about on this program for several years now, is just the trust aspect of it. It's getting harder and harder to, we used to go to our news organizations and conglomerates, whether it be Fox or CNN or ABC or MSNBC or NBC, any of the major networks. And we go there for the truth, and so many times, and you got to think of how frustrating it must be on people that are on the opposite sides of things. Like here we are arguing, and they've got news telling their people that we're lying. And then when the people have to find out that we weren't lying, that they were being duped. I mean, that's gotta weigh on their own people, because in the back of their own mind, they're like, wait a minute, I went to bat for this news segment once before, and I got, completely chewed up and spit out, and then find out that it was all true. They intentionally did this. I gotta think that the people that were fighting for them are getting sick and tired of fighting for them, because it's, the proof is in the pudding. You can tell that this has not been news. It's been propaganda, and everybody, yeah, that's all we want is the truth. Nobody wants to feel like they're being taken advantage of. That is not a selling point that any American citizen is going to, go up and sign. I'm getting blurry. Hold on here. Let me fix my camera real quick. I don't know. I think it's on autofocus. I don't know what made it go blurry, but it did just go blurry. So let me take the autofocus off. Just give me a second. My autofocus is on. There. Let's get you guys crystal. I want to get it blurry that way and then blurry that way. And then I can... Ooh, look at that picture. Oh, yeah, perfect right there. Look at that. Mm-hmm. That's what we need right there. That's what we need. Okay. So now that I'm in crystal clear, I have a muscle weakness disease. It took the first round of shots on the advice of my specialist. It made the symptoms worse. And, you know, that's kind of stuff, you know, even this weight loss drug, you know, people are injecting themselves with it. I'm just shaking my head. It's like, you know, yeah, you're losing weight, but what is that going to do to you 30 years from now? Are you going to get a weird cancer somewhere? You know, like I'm just at this point, I'm just like, you know, nothing's wrong with me yet, knock on wood. I don't feel like putting anything in my body at this point. I just, you know, I've been lucky. I've been very fortunate in life that I had only one broken bone in my entire life in 46 years. I haven't had a major, I've had, you know, major surgery here. You know, this is a brown recluse. I had some other, you know, stuff, but nothing major has really happened to me. And even through the whole COVID, I trusted my gut, I trusted my instincts, and I trusted my research. Thank God. Thank God. And I wouldn't let anybody bully me into submission either. And again, thank God. People don't understand. Do you guys know how many movie stars and people that have just keeled over 2 years, 3 years later? You guys have any clue? It's a lot. It's a lot. People that you just don't even remember in movies that are just never about. And then one day you're going to be like, oh, what happened to that person? And you'll find out that they died in 2022 or 2023. And it's usually complications of, blood clots or just pneumonia or just sudden heart stop. Did you know that? Just your heart stops, you just stop breathing. Just boom, it's done. No amount of resuscitation is going to help you. Even like Diamond is one of them. Diane Keaton, I think she's victim of the jab. I really do. But there's so many other ones. Sports people that were coming up that didn't even make it. Musicians that were coming up because they all had to take this in order to get on planes to go fly around. I chose to get in my car and drive. Okay? I chose during this era not to be on planes. I only got on a plane one time. And it was for a couple hours. And I was miserable being on that plane for the couple hours. But I did what I had to do, and I swore I'd never do that again. And I never did. You know, I just refuse to subject myself through it. But anyways, that's where we are. And I think that's why these news stations are doing so horribly. But it seems like CNN is the one that's been sold quite a lot. I think Fox News was just recently sold too because they were tanking. They started tanking after they got rid of Tucker Carlson, and they got rid of. Nobody is really connecting the dots. That every time you do anything that the Democrats or the woke side of the aisle does, it ruins it. Okay, people collapse. They follow that agenda, that narrative, and that recipe. It's a recipe for slap disaster. You show me one positive thing that has came from a liberal person so far. You know, and I ask that lovingly. What good thing has ever come? Because every time I turn around, they're trying to change something that's not broken to make people miserable. Right? Look at what they did to the Cracker Barrel. We were fine with fresh biscuits. Why would you think that we're okay with getting day old biscuits? Okay? Biscuits are one of the cheapest things you could possibly make from scratch, and you really want us to eat 3-day-old biscuits because of money. You know what it all comes down to? And this is where it annoys the crap out of me, folks, because they're always talking about the rich. But who are the ones always driving up the cost to make the most money? That was a liberal woman that was trying to do what? Change things at Cracker Barrel for what? So she could get a bigger bonus. Isn't that a direct conflict from their ideology? I mean, I'm asking honestly, isn't it a direct conflict of their ideology, right? They want to give back to people, then why can't you give them frickin' free biscuits? I'm just saying. It seems like they want us to think that they're these people that aren't greedy, But every time you turn around, who are the ones running who are the CEOs running these companies? Think about it. Who are they? Find it. You find the answer. I'll buy you a Bullhorn Betty shirt. Find the answer. I'll buy you a Bullhorn Betty shirt. There's only one Bullhorn Betty shirt being offered in this, but find where what a liberal did that was good, that we can all say, you know what, that was a good thing, and I will give you a shirt. There's only one winner chicken dinner in this contest. Find it for me. Send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. You guys have, it's Friday the 19th. You guys have until... All right, it's Friday the 19th, so that's the day after Christmas. So, that's not fair. So we'll give you guys until December 29th. Sonia, mark the calendar. Remind me if you can remember, because I'm not going to remember. The 29th is when we're going to look and find out who has provided me some information about what a liberal has done that has been positive in this country. That's what I'd like, because everything I see, you go woke, you go broke. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Hopefully I'm not offending too many people this morning. We're getting off of it. We have 84 people in the vertical chat. Good morning, you beautiful people. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on the way in or on your way out. I greatly appreciate it. The next, we're going to finish up. Let me finish up with Tucker Carlson, and then we'll be moving on to JonBenét Ramsey.
Last November. That is the threat. Censoring YouTube, X, Instagram. And I just think we should be focused on that.
And what's your take on Bari Weiss taking over CBS News? I'm not sure if you've commented on this.
I'm kind of impressed. I mean, it's easy to make fun of Bari Weiss for being dumb or whatever, which is fair, but you have to sort of look at it in reverse image, and it's negative. It's like, with those talents you got, you're amazing. And I will say, I agree with that. I think that she's charming. She's tireless, energetic. I don't know. That still matters. Like we overvalue IQ. Oh, a person's so smart. It actually doesn't matter. Like being charming, meeting people.
Having an understanding of who your audience is matters, So I think that's the point he's trying to make. So, yeah, I think definitely this is going to be a shakeup if Tucker Carlson gets CNN, I mean, if he does get CNN, he gets CNN. All right, guys. So we're going to be moving on over to JonBenét Ramsey. JonBenét Ramsey, this was a case that kind of came out, happened in the 90s. It's been going on for, Louise, entirely too long, 20, 30 years at this point. I think 30, coming up on 30 years. Good gracious. This poor baby hasn't had an opportunity to really live. She had a beautiful, idyllic life, and she was a beautiful pageant girl. It seemed like she really doted on being the center of attention. And I know that a lot of people, now retroactively are somehow, offended or up in arms about it. And I get it. But, at the end of the day, people should be comfortable being able to do things, even pageants, without being turned into or people should be able to do what makes them happy without having to worry about threats. Okay, so I'm kind of upset a little bit in part on this case that people have focused on Patsy and her being in a pageant and how dare her and shame on her. And instead of saying she had a right to do that and she should have been able to do that without having predators prey upon her. Okay, there are a lot of beautiful little girls out there that want to be a part of this, and despite what you guys think, I know that for a fact. I had 3 beautiful granddaughters, okay, and I can tell you a lot of them, even at young ages, would get in their little, they would just love to be in a pageant. Okay? They would love it, and when they did it, they would even want more of it. Okay? And they're just little girls. The only reason why our girls were not in them is they're very expensive. Okay? They're very expensive. But they teach kids a lot of necessary skills, too, that people don't want to understand. So I'm not upset with this young girl being a part of a pageant. I'm just not. I think it's beneficial in the long run, and not these things don't happen to every pageant girl. And just because they're in pageants doesn't mean they're being essayed or abused at all. I don't know if you've seen some of those pageant moms, but you get around their kids, they're like freaking bears. Okay, you're getting mauled. I don't know if you've ever been around pageant moms. They're nobody to mess with. I will tell you that. Don't be messing with pageant moms. Jules, it's nice to see you. Dreaming blue skies and sandy beaches. Sandy, good morning, guys. It's nice to see you. If you guys didn't have an opportunity and you're interested in, we just went over a couple items with Tucker Carlson that just made headlines over the last 48 hours. One being his speech at Turning Points USA, which turned some heads, kind of sounded a little pro-Islamic. Speech, which, again, for our side, it just doesn't bode. And of course, his potential purchasing of the CNN, CNN. I don't know what I would do if Tucker Carlson ends up owning CNN. I think it'll be, I think they'll probably have the best newsworthy content on their channel that we've heard in probably 15 years. I have to be honest with you. I really do hope that we do have a good CNN. I want to make CNN great again, right? CNN didn't used to be like this. Make CNN great again. That's gonna be an algorithm, whatever, the letters. I can't remember what the letters are called. Hey, Mama, 9.5. Oh, that reminds me, because you snuck with the cookies. Somebody bought me some things, and I don't know who it is, and I'm racking my brain. I'm like, I went back in and I even checked some of my orders just to make sure. I'm like, did I order this? Did I not order this? Somebody bought me candy cane pajamas. By the way, they fit. Don't know how you knew my size, but they fit. I love the candy cane pajamas. Okay, so wrong one. But I thought, did I pick these out? Do I remember seeing these? I've started feeling like, maybe I'm getting a little, upstairs. I'm starting to think that something might not be there. I might be missing something, right? So, there was pajamas and dinner. You can't make this stuff up. I don't know if somebody was trying to send me a subtle message or not. So I'd really like to know who is the culprit of dinner and pajamas, okay? Because I had candy cane pajamas and Mexican food out my front door last night, okay? The pajamas, in all fairness, came from Amazon, so obviously they weren't ordered together. And it was you? Yeah, okay. Pajamas and I know there was no socks, so hopefully they didn't charge you for the socks. All I got was unless they're coming today. Okay, well, the pajama, I don't know how you got my size. The pajamas fit. The pajamas fit. The food was great. Thank you. But I gotta tell you, I'm like, pajamas and dinner. What are you trying to tell me? I just want to tell you I don't sleep on the first date. I'm just saying. I don't even know what a date is. It's been years. Good gracious. Oh, Betty, you need a life. I got a life. It's called Delilah. She's my life right now. So that's where we're going to go with that. Okay, so JonBenét Ramsey, this really is a case that just refuses to die because it's never been resolved. And after diving into it myself, even surface level, am every time, do I turn this off and every time I turn it off, it goes back to autofocus? Is that what's happening here? No, it's not. Okay, well, what the hell's... I feel like it's not. All right, I'm going to put it down in the box and keep it. There we go. I don't know. I look up and my face looks a little blurry. Anyways, and you guys know it's a pet peeve of mine. Okay, getting back to this. So it almost appeared that the Boulder Police Department was interfering in their own case because they had botched it so bad. They didn't. I did not. I don't. I just kidding. I'm just teasing you. But I wasn't even thinking of it like that until we got on here. But I thought it was funnier to put them both together. But at first, I'm like, maybe I put this on a gift list? So I went back. I was just looking everywhere. I'm like, how the heck did anybody know my size? Oh, I already know. Well, that's sweet. That's sweet. Good morning, Crystal Pistol. You weren't on this early. I got a little worried since you were at a meeting, but you weren't in Sumner County, so I figured you were good. There you go. Yeah, no, I'm far away. We'll be in Sumner County in February. I do not aspire to hang out in that county. I'm going to be there getting some stuff done under the radar because we're taking over that county. I can tell you that. Somehow, some way, we're going to take over the county. I've got a 5-year plan in Sumner County for change. So I've already put pen to paper. I've already mapped out the plan, and it's just putting putting everything in the right trajectory. So we're going to be working on that. But I think Sumner County, I think we'll be good. I think by 2028 there should be some major changes in Sumner County if everything goes well. So that's what we'll be focused on. I'm not going to really focus too much. 2026, we're going to be in there, but we're not going to be focused too much. And then it's going to be the 2028 push that I'm going to be involved in because I've got my hands full in Kentucky and for the state of Florida because I've got 2 people that need help. They don't need my help. They just need, overall general help here in Florida. One's a local candidate, one's a state candidate. So I think 3 major campaigns is going to probably be pretty overlooked. Oh, I'm probably going to have my hands full is all I'm saying. Plus maintaining my county, my county meetings and stuff. I'm going to have my hands full, folks. I'm going to have my hands full. So, but this is the case that refuses to die. And again, I think it comes down to the police chiefs that have been overseeing the Boulder, Colorado. I didn't think they wanted the stain on their name, or they wanted to wait until everybody was out of Boulder Police Department before they did decide to solve this because of the embarrassment aspect. I think Boulder Police Department screwed this case up, okay? I think they were so hyper-focused on the parents that it just clouded their judgment. It clouded their ability to do a proper investigation. And it's just my opinion. But we do have now a new police chief, and he's publicly stated that this case needs to be solved. So we have a let's get a JonBenét Ramsey case done and solved and prosecuted. And that matters more than people realize, having, the police chief on board with that. Oh, thank you, love. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let Them 66 says, Merry Christmas, Betty. Delilah, I get what you want from me and my pup. Oh, thank you. We love you from Michigan. Oh, I appreciate that. Let Them 66. Hugs and loves to you. Hugs and loves to you and yours. So because for years the posture has always seems to be passive in this case, the posture is now active review. And this is a positive positive actions taking this case into the right direction, something that should have happened years ago, decades ago, let's be honest, but it hasn't. So a day late and a dollar short, nonetheless, we're moving. And that is a huge, huge, huge advancement from where we were. So what's new in this case is that outside forensic labs are now being consulted, which you guys know they weren't really trying to pass evidence off, which was what was pissing me. Like, I was ready to start, like, I think we talked about it at the end of 2022 or 2023 of us going out there and protesting the Boulder Police Department, for movement in this case, because I believe it was going to be a solvable case, and I believe it's a solvable case. But we also have IgG and its renewed DNA review using modern technology, and the modern technology is IgG. Hey, Betty, I love your shirt. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wore it just for you. Mwah. No, I didn't. I wore it because it was long sleeve, and I thought today was going to be the cold day, and today is not the cold day. It's going to be like this temperature all day. It's not going to really change much for temperature, but tomorrow is going to be the cold day. So tomorrow's Saturday when we're supposed to go over to Laura's, and depending on how cold it is and how painful it is to get out of bed, we'll reevaluate in the morning what time I'm going to be leaving to go over there. So, anyways, what's new is the outside. They're consulting an outside forensic lab, renewed DNA review, using modern technology, specifically IgG is what we're going to be learning. Willingness to revisit old assumptions. And so what is important? This doesn't mean that the suspect has been identified. It means the case is being treated as unfinished business. The case shaped how America viewed child homicides, media trials, and family suspicion. And solving it would send a message: no case is too old to matter. And I think the IgG we can assess has really brought about a lot of cold cases solved. I think over the last several years here in the true crime community, we have seen an uptick in 30 and 40-year-old missing person cases being identified and solved, including Peaches, right? Peaches and her baby, which we thought was attributed to Rex Heuermann, which is the Gilgo Beach serial killer, or known as the Gilgo Beach serial killer. Well, she was not a part of that. It was the baby's father that, allegedly murdered her and her child. I think my ex ride from the grave and toward if I gave it away. Oh, what is this? The bulldog? Yeah, Georgia bulldog. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. People in Georgia, my family's from Georgia, so they're major bulldog fans, like the whole state. It's like it's almost like Alabama. They are, and they actually had the couple weeks ago the rivalry with Alabama and the Bulldogs. And of course, Bullhorn Betty was rooting for the Bulldog. Okay, I'm going to stop. Stop. You don't need to hear me barking. Might show up on Great Gaping Lakes channel. Oh, good gracious. I'm on the right side. Good morning. Hey, Sandwich. It's nice to see you, Faye. Good morning. Good morning, ladies. I hope you guys are doing well. So we're going over segment 2, which is about the JonBenét Ramsey updates. There are some updates related to the forensics. And Ashley Banfield has been kind of taking the lead on identifying some of these things and getting John on her program. Now, I want to remind you guys, and I love the Lore Lodge. I really have high regard for them. I learned about their channel through Sebastian Rogers. I don't really watch him very often, but there are cases that he covers that I've covered. For example, Sebastian Rogers. And then this is another case that I started diving into myself, and I kind of do not agree with with his complete findings. I agree with all of his research, and I think that's where I think the research that is done by Deception Detective as well as the Lore Lodge is superb work. It's not the work, in my opinion. It's the interpretation of the information from the work, okay? We're starting to get a little sticky. We just got to hit an error in our horizontal, and if it's in the horizontal, it's most likely in the vertical. So we should be pulling out of this shortly as I start dumping some of the channels that we have. Let me pull it back to the some of these things they just have. The sooner I can get out of here and close down, the better off we truly are. And I do have some publications for in the show, and this could be bogging the system as well. So hopefully this resolves itself. But anyways, there's been a lot of information in the JonBenét Ramsey case that has not been tested and hasn't been tested for years. One is the garrote or garrote, however you want to pronunciate that. I never heard of it before this case, so I pronunciate it both ways, a garrote and a garrote. I heard John Ramsey speak of it as a garrote, so that is what I will be using for this this segment here, and that has been in. It's shocking that that piece of evidence hasn't been tested, because that is the one piece of evidence we know conclusively has that was being held by the assailant as well as touching the victim. It's probably the only thing that we do have that we know conclusively had to have been held by the victim, or excuse me, by the suspect, and it was obviously found around the victim's neck, and therefore it was touching the victim. And that particular item, that handmade, homemade item that was derived by the litter of stuff that happened to be just in the general, like an opportunistic item that was made right there in real time. Somebody with the knowledge to do that may even have had military training in the past. I am very, very interested in the best friend, the male half best friend, Mr. White, the place that they were over that day. He was the one that was downstairs in that area earlier that day searching for JonBenét before John ever went down there. And we did learn that in 2008, I believe, John as well as Patsy, or John was found cleared of this crime, and I believe it was in 2012, Patsy was cleared of this crime. So if I've got those dates right, those dates may be off, but either way, both of them were cleared of the crime conclusively related to their daughter, JonBenét Ramsey. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the Lore Lodge. I'm looking at the Deception Detective. They have amazing research. The research is spot on. However, why are they still believing that it is John or Patsy as opposed to anybody else? And I think it's their assessment of certain elements of the case that they're looking at with a certain lens that I think that looking at it from a different lens is not wrong. And so I just think it's the way that they're processing and deriving the information from. Their work is spot on. It's their assessment from the work that they got. Their conclusion based on the facts that they've uncovered, I think, is where the mistake is. And I think that it's because there are so many personal items that are associated with that letter. It's too close to the home. And I think that's skewering a lot of people where they're not saying, what about the friends? What about the people close to them? You know, would they be able to also, that woman is discussing, you need to die. Oh, which one, Candace? I can't stand Candace. But here, let me go ahead and put this up here. Let's listen to what John has to say. This is kind of the breakdown of what they're doing forensically. I think it's great stuff, folks. I'm not going to lie. I really, truly think that this is some good vibes. I think this is excellent. Guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button here in the horizontal chat. But if you guys would be so kind as to also go over to our vertical chat and hit the thumbs up button, I would greatly appreciate that. That one's always not getting as much attention because it's on the short feed. So people just kind of scroll through it and they don't hit the thumbs up. So if you guys could go over there and help me out with that, I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, so here's JonBenét Ramsey. Let's listen to what new information they're talking about in the JonBenét case. And I've also learned, folks, that there is additional evidence that has been uncovered, folks. There is additional evidence that has been uncovered. Little Orange Man, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Love Bug. Oma, good morning. Thank you all for that. I appreciate your help on that.
Come. And John joins me now live. John, I can't even count how many times you and I meet at this time of year to discuss what's new, what's happening, what's different, what's changed. But something does feel different this year. To hear Chief Redfern say that they've got new evidence, that they've retested old evidence, and that they're using outside experts. Let's start with the new evidence and the retesting of old evidence. Have they told you anything about that?
Well, Chief Redfern told us, gosh, I don't know, September, we had a meeting with him, and that he had submitted evidence for additional DNA testing. He didn't say what evidence it was, but that it was submitted again, or perhaps new. We don't know if it was new or stuff that had been tested before. We, of course, have advocated that if certain evidence that was taken from the crime scene has never been sampled, that it ought to be. The main one being the garrote.
There, did you guys hear that? The garrote. It had never been tested. Again, this is where my problem is with this whole investigation is we know that for a fact had to have been touched by the assailant in order to hurt and unalive JonBenét Ramsey. And you're telling me that has never been tested? Not one iota of testing on that? That to me kind of implies this obstructiveness from the Boulder Police Department, no? Aw, good morning, Ashley. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. So let's go back and listen to that. I want you to hear that.
Or perhaps new. We don't know if it was new or stuff that had been tested before. We, of course, have advocated that if certain evidence that was taken from the crime scene has never been sampled, that it ought to be. The main one being the garrote that was used.
So it's never been tested or sampled. Yeah. I mean, if you have a problem with that, I mean, we're here 30 years later, folks. Okay? If you have a problem with the fact that an item that we know for a fact the suspect would have had his hands on. Remember, this was made by stuff that was left right in that general area. So they didn't bring it with them, but they would have touched it in a frantic stage. Right? In a frantic stage. And they're trying to get this stuff done. They most likely have DNA, blood typing. There was a lot of stuff that could have been had. And to find out that item that they know was touched by the suspect and they know was around the neck of the victim, they didn't test that item? That seems like, Detective 101 stuff, right? That seems like elementary, that would need to be tested, right? You know that item of all items at all, that item there needs to be tested. And we're finding out right now today that it has not been tested. This is a big problem. It's a huge problem, folks. It's a huge problem.
Just to strangle my daughter. So it's encouraging. And, the key really in progress has been the addition of new leadership there. It was not very good for 25, 26 years.
He's talking about the
And
police
the audience
department.
from the outside, I've met with him 3 or 4 times. I'm impressed
He's
with him.
talking about the prior chief of police for 26 years has been terrible to work with. What person does not want to solve a case? What detective, what chief of police, a corrupted one? I don't give a rat's ass. There's something corrupted inside that Boulder police department that they didn't want to be seen. Something very corrupted. Now, it might just be the fact that they're trying to cover up how poorly their investigators were, which I think is more of the problem, because there's a lot of arrogance in law enforcement, and they don't want to look like assholes when they're assholes. And let's be honest, we're one of the first. Oh, thank you. Who did that? Oh, Sonia. Oh, you gifted 5 Bullhorn Buddy memberships. If you received your 5 Bullhorn or your Bullhorn Buddy membership, don't forget to tell Sonia thank you. Patty Lee. Oh, Lady O. Oh, love that. What? A tin of tartan paint. A tin of tartan paint. It's nice to see you, Kim. Priscilla. Well, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. I hear the inside love. Grab your straight jackets in your padded room and welcome a book, because I'm a love machine. Hey, Starlots. Nice to see you. Yeah. Congrats, New Beans. Congrats. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. So, again, these are things that should have been tested long time ago, folks. Long time ago. The garrote, folks. I'm ashamed.
I think he's...
And you know what I'm ashamed of the most is that not one person stood up and said, this is wrong. This girl deserves justice. Whether we screwed this case up or not, we need to go and fight for justice. Not one person in 26 years had the balls or the backbones in Boulder, Colorado to do that. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame.
He's sincere and honest, and so I'm encouraged. And, we've advocated...
I can't believe, John, that the chiefs in the past haven't seen it as a priority, if
Amen.
only to become, famous in name as the chief that solved this case.
Amen.
It just defies logic that it's taken 3 decades for someone to come along who maybe does make this a priority and who has the chops. Do you know if they have enlisted labs like Othram? And I bring up Othram because it's famous for having solved the Idaho murders.
And it has been. And I'm sure they're going to be reaching out to those things, those other resources. It sounds like they got a chief of police that's wanting this case to be solved. And I hope he is, because, the next step is us going out there, right? Going out there and protesting. And we've been bouncing that around. Like if you guys are new to this channel, me bouncing, whether we go out to protest Boulder, Colorado, has been bounced on this channel multiple times over the last several years, because we didn't know what else to do. We knew that the Boulder Police Department was obstructing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about whether they were obstructing progress in the case, and I think they were. They were intentionally and willfully obstructing. And I could never understand. Oh, thank you, Ashley. A hot cocoa. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. But they seem to always be the ones obstructing. They didn't want to come off their high horse. They didn't want to acknowledge that they had made terrible, terrible, terrible mistakes. And I went to the judgment of this young girl's case, and a person that murdered the girl and did terrible things in the middle of the night has been walking free all this time when they should be in jail. And I do feel like there's just a piece of me that does feel that this person is close to the family. I do have other suspects like the homeless guy, and there was this preacher guy, and some of the initials at the bottom of the letter, seemed like maybe that's true. Maybe it's a third party that just had time in the home where they found out, they were personal effects and found out that he had this. There is possibility of that, as well as of the ruffle under JonBenét's bed. There was a ruffle that in the crime scene photos appeared to be pushed out, like somebody out from under the bed, because the ruffle came out this way instead of somebody was crawling in, it would go up under bed. This one was coming out as if something was pulled out from under bed, and that could very well been somebody being under bed. And if somebody lied in wait under her bed, then they had time out to get through personal effects, in my opinion. I wish I had a bestie to hang out with. Oh, I know. I love her. She's great. She's great. I do look forward to. This is glitchy. I've got error right now. Say stream is glitchy. So freaking out. I'm freezing up. It's on my end. We're getting close to the end of the show. Well, we're than we should take these shows on this particular comment. So let me go ahead and finish. I think we finished up with JonBenét Ramsey about that. They're going to be potentially reaching out to Ortham. So let's see what John says about Ortham.
One of the few they allowed to do investigative genealogy, IDG's report, and we're advocating that the board do that, use that technology. In our case, I think they do got a 70% chance to get an answer in very still unsolved cold cases.
I also found out they might be able to run YouTube on one stream. They have a toggle switch that presents the vertical stream to the shorts. So I might be able to get a better quality stream. We'll try that out tomorrow, so I'm not having to run 2 streams at once, and see if it does, then we'll go back to the streams and see if we can put something in there. But I'll try that out either later this afternoon or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning.
Some of the latest use of technology. And
look at Brooke behind him. I don't think Brooke. This is not a family of homicidal maniacs. Okay, I'm sorry. I just believe a 9-year-old boy is capable of what this little girl. I just don't. That's the case. I just don't think that's. And I think with the semen sampling, I think they could have excluded him a long time ago. If it was him, there would have been a match. Just my personal opinion.
To health crimes. Yeah.
I can tell you something. When I saw the posting of Dufresne, I looked down in the comments and I was reading the comments. John, I was disheartened there to believe you had something with it. Despite the fact that you were out bold.
Here it is. Okay, so if you guys want to know when they were cleared, she's about to say cleared.
Investigated murder dog. They have cleared you over and over and over again. And they've gone so far to apologize for having left you under that umbrella of suspicion so long. The point where Patsy died, where she was cleared from that umbrella of suspicion. So if you're watching, in the comments, do your research before you take such.
I'm going to shame people for having their opinions, okay? We don't play that. But you guys get the gist of it. You guys get the gist of it. So, Patsy and John and Brooke, in my opinion, have all cleared. So, this comes back to, I never really thought, since I investigated, now I didn't think it was them, they were responsible for it years and years and years ago, because that's what older police were putting out in the news. Actually, if they're deleted figures, they're like these parents are responsible, then the chances of these people being responsible are great, right? So, I believe that the parents were looked at as suspects in this properly, they were refusing to look anywhere else, okay? And that's why the whole world thought they were responsible, because who was being that all of our minds? It was the Boulder Police Department. They were the one that were going out being all pissed off and angry that they weren't getting a jury indictment and other things going on. So there is that. We keep going here. We're here. I monitor the situation. Hopefully, we get a DNA profile on the group. If we get a DNA profile on the group, we're smooth sailing, okay? I truly believe we're smooth sailing. We're going to find out who did this. We need to get the DNA profile. The DNA profile from that point forward will what to do at that point. So please. Now, guys, it's going to be shocking. This is a segment where we're going to be going into the Brown University, and I thought it was very important. Sorry, I've got to make some notes on my We're going to talk about the suspect identified, the homicides occurred, suspect later found deceased, storage facility location raises concerns. We do have some online rumors, personal grievances, academic pressure, and possible ideological fixation. There's also speculation about a separate MIT professor killing, whether the pattern exists. And at the time, they said there was no confirmed connection, and then later recanted that statement and now believe that the professor was also killed by the same person that killed the 2 students at Brown University. This is a case where internet sleuthing has really drove a lot of the information that is out there. Institutions are failing to address warning signs. Behavioral escalation is being ignored. Transparency after the fact is insufficient. And that's kind of where we have been left with the Brown University. It took days before we found out. Oh, am I muted? I should be back. Am I not back on yet? Okay, I'm good. Well, it's just really weird. I'm having some major issues. Okay, well, we're back. We should be back. Hopefully it's not... I don't know what's going on. Okay, we're all good? Well, that's all that matters. Okay, we're all good now. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's not showing it drop for me. As a matter of fact, my yellow bar disappeared. So let's just go and get into this. And would you like... Okay, so we're all good now. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, we'll decide tomorrow whether we can get the other one without having to run 2 shows. I think the 2 shows with this... My processor on a laptop can't handle running 2 shows. It's not the bandwidth in the house or the office. It's this, but I thought this was interesting, and you guys would want to watch this. Reason knowing this because I want you guys, and we just got hit again, so I've got keyframes dropping here, so let me try to get some of this stuff off and see if I can help salvage whatever's going on here. Don't save. Okay. I don't need this up, so let me go ahead and drop this one and this one up. There we go. Maybe that'll help out a little bit. I have a funny feeling it's my publications. They're reset at publications far back. We got about 3 more things to go before I'm doing my publications, and then hopefully the finickiness will go away. They're just the publications refresh and put ads on them. So every time we start lagging, it's because the publications I've got up are just refreshing, and it's bogging down my system. And I hate it, but there's nothing I can do with it. Otherwise, I'll forget what I'm going to be talking about. I've got to have them in. We did find out the MIT professor killing is associated and connected with this case as well. But these students here, they needed to remember to breathe. And this is where the professionalism of law enforcement is, is important. So watch.
Everybody's hands. Hands, 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 hands. Hands, hands, hands. Everybody get your hands. Hands, hands, hands. Hands, hands. Just keep your hands up for us. Obviously, there's something going on. We're here to help you. Just listen to what we have to say, okay? All right, breathe. Anybody hurt? No? All right, just listen to our commands. We will get you out of here safely.
But it's them going in there and saying, breathe. Breathe. Because I'm sure everybody associated with what was going on there was scared half to death. Absolutely scared half to death. So let's go over here. This is going to be, it's about 3 minutes. We're going to listen to the first 3 minutes of this press conference, okay? We're not going to listen to more than 3 minutes of this press conference because it's the Q&A. We'll discuss the Q&A tomorrow. We need to go ahead and start getting through our segment. We're already here almost 2 hours, and I've got 2 more segments before we close out the show this morning. So let's get moving.
including information that led us to today's search of the storage locker in New Hampshire. This is what we learned during this multi-jurisdictional investigation. Neves Valente studied at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island on an F1 visa around 2000 to 2021. He eventually obtained legal permanent resident status. Previously, he attended the same academic program as the MIT professor Nuno Loureiro in Portugal between 1995 and 2000. Although Neves Valente appeared to reside in Florida, between November 26 and November 30 of this year, he rented a hotel room in Boston. On December 1st, he rented a gray Nissan Sentra with Florida plates from a car rental agency in Boston. That same day, he drove to the vicinity of Brown University, where his car was observed intermittently between December 1st and December 12th. On December 13th, Neves Valente entered an auditorium on Brown University's campus during a study session and began shooting at students, killing Ella Cook and Mohammed Aziz Mirzakov and injuring 9 others. Between December 13th and December 14th, Neves Valente returned to Massachusetts. On December 15th, he murdered MIT professor Nuno Loureiro at Loureiro's home in Brookline, Massachusetts. At some point while he was in Massachusetts, he switched the plates on the Nissan Sentra to an unregistered plate out of Maine. Immediately following Professor Loureiro's murder, Neves Valente drove to a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire, where he had rented a storage unit in November of this year. The December 13th shooting at Brown and the December 15th shooting in Brookline, state, local, and federal law enforcement officials have been working hand in hand around the clock to identify the shooter and prevent him from inflicting further harm. I have said this before and will continue to believe when law enforcement agencies work together, crimes are solved and the public is protected. The information we provided to you tonight would not be possible without the dedicated men and women of law enforcement in multiple districts throughout New England, including the FBI, ATF, HSI, the U.S. Marshal Service, Massachusetts State Police, Rhode Island State Police, Providence Police, Brookline Police, and the Brown University Police. In addition, prosecutors for the Rhode Island Attorney General's Office and the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, and federal prosecutors from Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts all contributed to this result. I also want to thank Attorney General Pam Bondi for her support in coordinating the federal response.
Questions? Can you tell us anything about his motive and the 2 sets of victims and how they might be related?
Okay, I'm not going to go too much more into that. That's kind of what we have for Brown University. His I don't know why when they do these press conferences, what is wrong with people? People want to see who these people are, okay? All right? So I don't care if you're in a liberal area or not, put 50 cents up to put a piece of paper behind you to show people the suspect, okay? I don't care if it goes against your ideology, your narrative, or whatever. He's a foreigner that should not be here, okay? He's legally here. Don't misunderstand me. He should not be here. If this is the way it's going to be, and we're going to start dealing with a lot of foreigners doing all this because the last few attacks have been foreign, again, it's time for everybody to go home and let us get people coming in here in a different way. This is not working for us, and it seems like a lot of American citizens are losing their life, and that's not okay with me. It's not okay with me. So I don't know what's going to go on with this. With this particular case, but I feel like they intentionally misled us because everybody thought that the MIT professor was affiliated with this case. And come to find out, they kept telling him, no, it's not affiliated, not affiliated, not affiliated. And lo and behold, guess what? It was affiliated. It was affiliated. It was affiliated. So here we go, guys. I'll keep monitoring the case with Brown University and seeing if we can find out. It sounds like the case is closed. The culprit has unalived himself, so now they're just going to be doing the investigation. They're not going to really be worried too much with, putting this guy behind bars or preparing for a major trial, because there's not going to be a major trial. The man that is responsible for this is, apparently gone. He harmed himself in his storage unit, probably because he knew the noose was closing in on him. He was from Portugal. And I've never heard of really Portugal people being violent, but it seemed like this was a little more personal than many people want to acknowledge. I mean, apparently something happened in 2000s to this guy here where he ended up dropping out of school and never finishing his career, his very promising career. And so I think it had something to do with that MIT professor. Maybe this guy was mentally ill and didn't realize that it's him, not everybody else. I mean, I don't know what the situation is. Hey-o, Lady-o, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. But clearly it was personal. In part. I don't know if there's any other reason for it, but personal. Okay. So, Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner is a beloved producer. I don't, up until he died, I didn't really remember a whole lot about him. Didn't realize who he was. Didn't realize, he went off to become, a mega producer and multimillionaire. And, he has an estate worth $200 million. Very well-to-do guy that got into, TV and really learned a lot and took that creative stuff to heart. And he ended up marrying a lady by the name of Michelle Singer. And they ended up having 3 children. Well, one of their children, Nick, is responsible for their homicide. Rob Reiner, a Hollywood political figure as well. He's not just, he's a liberal and completely bodes differently with my ideology. However, in order for me to talk about this case, I'm removing the politics out of it, other than to say that people are up in arms about Trump's comments about him. I think Trump has a right to make those comments. And, it's not for us. The guy didn't do anything to me, so therefore I'm speaking about his in a very curious sense, because I want to know why we're here. This is such an American problem. Having the child hooked on substances. It's so American. And this is what I don't understand about the ideology of the left. They see these problems and they want to kumbaya it to death. That's not how you stop it. We're stopping the drug flow into this country so there are no more Nick Reiners, and we're having to be very, very brutal and ruthless to stop the flow of substances into this country. If his family would have done things differently, could it have saved them? I don't know. The woulda, coulda, shouldas always plague cases like this. So is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? I can tell you that personally, a 32-year-old boy should not be living with his parents. I don't care. They should not be in the house. They should not be there if they want to live across the street or whatever. They need their own place. And even if there's a compound, they need to be on their own. So Nick was born in, no, that's not right. I think they were talking about Rob. I got this wrong. Rob was born in 1963. Nick was, from what I'm hearing, the eldest of the children. The oldest child, which is pretty weird because usually the oldest children, it's usually the youngest child that that goes awry. I mean, statistically, it usually is the youngest child, but I digress. So online discussions have framed the family tensions, resentments, and ideological disagreements. There's no verified evidence of criminal behavior prior to this, and I disagree with that. There is some evidence of prior violence. I don't know toward the parents or not, but we definitely know that he was destroying and had destroyed their guest house previously. But we never heard of any other verifiable threats against their life throughout his upbringing. And, you know, whatever the case may be, we never heard him threaten his parents that we know of. But what we did learn through this process is Rob and Michelle wouldn't call the law enforcement on their son, even if he was a threat to them. Guys, we have shocking admissions as well. Okay, there's a shocking admission that happened at the Conan O'Brien Christmas party. You guys hear me? There is a shocking admission for the Conan O'Brien Christmas party, and we will get to that. We will get to that. So what happened in their home? We don't know. We don't know what set Nick off. But what we're learning right now is that they were in their bedroom. So both mom and dad were in their bedroom. And this is crazy because if they were in their bedroom, were they sleeping when he attacked them? Did he sneak in the house in the middle of the night to unalive him, or did they get into a fight in their bedroom and things just happened the way they happened? Guys, they weren't in the living room. They weren't in the kitchen. There was a knife produced. That means he would have had to be prepared to do this before he got to the room, or he left their bedroom after the fight, went to the kitchen, and returned back. So we have some weird things going on here, and I think this might have been premeditated, folks. I think he got into a fight with his parents and intentionally waited until they went to sleep and went in there and killed them, folks. Something's not really sitting right here with this here. So let you listen to this. This will tell you where they were found.
From a friend who lives in the community, I heard that the son, Nick, went into his parents' house, stabbed both mom and dad, and that the daughter, I guess, lives on the property or at the house or in the back house, and that she found them, and that the mom was still alive, and apparently she called the ambulance and went in the ambulance with her mother. Michelle died in the ambulance, but had enough time to tell her daughter that it was Nick, their son, who stabbed them, and that's why they figured it out so quickly, and he's in custody.
I heard that there was rigor mortis, said it that they were both in rigor mortis. So I'm not sure about the ambulance, but maybe one was in rigor mortis, one was still hanging on by a thread. From everything I'm hearing, both the parents' throats being slashed, I'm having a hard time believing mom was able to talk. Okay, I just throwing that out there. Okay, so I don't know how accurate this truly is.
Custody.
My God.
Yeah.
Romy's 28.
Stabbed them, and that's why they figured it out so quickly, and he's in custody.
Okay, so I just wanted you guys to hear it because I kind of cut it off there. Now, here's the publications that we have. Is it this one? Nope, it's this one here. So they have spent years trying to obviously save their son, but this next one's going to be the one that shocks you guys to your very core. Okay, this is what was stated at Conan O'Brien's house at the party, and again, this is probably what's been gunking the system up. This is this one right here. But this is the comment. I'm going to probably have to fix this on the vertical chat, so give me just a second. You guys on horizontal should be able to see this just fine, but those that's on the verticals probably getting cut off, so just give me just a second so I can put this up here in real color. Okay, this one needs to go just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there's the comment. If you guys can't read it, don't worry. I'm going to read it out loud to you. So the comment says the last words. So there was a memorial, and there was a memorial at one of their friends' houses. I can't remember what the friend's name is. It is, they've got it up here. No, maybe they got it down here. Larry, David. No, that's not where they had the party. So Conan O'Brien's. They had the. They had the memorial at another friend's house. It wasn't. It wasn't at a church. It was at a private residence, and I can't remember who was at that private residence. Maybe we will find out it. But at this memorial forum, one of the speakers wrote up and spoke to them about what Rob's last message was to them, and the last message that he stated, and it was at Conan O'Brien's party, was, "I am petrified of Nick. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm afraid of my son. I think my own son can hurt me." The unspecified celebrity recalls Rob said, according to a source who was at the funeral service, which was, which was held at comedian Albert Brooks' mansion in L.A. So this was one of the party goers. They were at this funeral or memorial service for the Reiner family at a private residence. And I'm sure it was to keep media out. And during this, one of the people talked about their last conversation that they had with Rob Reiner at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party before they left. Tell me that is not freaky. Tell me that is not scary. This has been a very, very difficult case to cover. I mean, politically, it's difficult for me because this guy he hated people like me, right? He wants to see us, in prison or dead. And so it's very hard for me to be kind to this legendary producer because of some of the things that he said that particularly attack me. However, it's hard because in addition to that, we have this being a Hollywood family. And in my world, Hollywood families are corrupted. They are immoral. They live a different lifestyle. Obviously, this man harbored, Rob Reiner, even though he seems like a very nice guy. He obviously harbored a lot of hate because he had a lot of hate for people he didn't even know, people like me. So we can't dismiss these things because these things are behavioral, in nature. And it really does help us psychologically profile, if you will, some of the people in these things, either victims or suspects. And one thing it does appear is it appears that they have two other children that are fairly well-rounded individuals. And so it tells me that they have the ability to be good parents and have raised stellar children. What happened to Nick? And then we learn that Nick is most likely the firstborn. And so maybe because he was the firstborn, he was the one that didn't have the level of parenting. Maybe he was with the babysitters all the times. Maybe he was left out. And then when they were more stable, when they had the second or third child, where they spent more time with them, and maybe Nick started feeling jealous. We don't know what the situation is. We hear Nick has potential mental illness. Was this mental illness created because of the substance abuse, which does happen? Or was it there and the reason for the substance abuse? Because some people try to self-medicate mental illness. So it's one or the other. You either create the mental illness because you decided to use substances or vice versa. I do see that the system is getting cranky again. So if we're sticky, we're going to be sticky. We're trying to move through this so we can get this off. But he was petrified of Nick. He made statements the night before he left the party at Conan's that he was concerned for his safety. And I don't think anybody thought anything of it. Could somebody have saved Rob Reiner if they took his concerns seriously? I don't know. It seems like Rob Reiner hid a lot from his family and friends about what was going on inside his home. I believe that this is a domestic violence death. I think these are domestic violent homicides. I think they need to be treated as that because, again, it goes down to what makes a terrible person a good person, a terrible person, right? And it's substance abuse, alcohol abuse, or home violence. It could be one, it could be two, or it could be all three of those things. But those are three things that I identify in every single case that we cover on this channel of somebody, doing terrible things. Usually one, two, or all three of those specific issues are involved. Nick openly battled drug addiction since he was a teen and had a reputation of violent behavior. And I get that, but there's something that sparked it. There was something that happened in his life that had this, because when you are, in my opinion, when you are seeking out something to fill something, a hole, whether it be alcohol or substances or whatever the case may be, when you're actively seeking that out, you are, in my opinion, filling a hole. And so now you have to ask yourself, is this related to childhood trauma? There's some things that you guys may not know. Because of Rob and his wife being an elitist, maybe he went to somebody's home and he was essayed, right? And maybe that was a secret and he never told anybody. But he thinks that his family should have known that it happened. And he's too scared to say something. So he starts acting out or starts, not being able to handle this secret. And he's racking, and they don't realize this is what's going on. This is realized later down the road after the addiction has taken hold. But now they're trying to find an escape from thinking about this. They find either substances or alcohol, and next thing you know, they start leaning on that more and more and more. And so that what caused him to want to escape? Is it because something happened to him? Is it because he felt like his parents weren't paying attention to him? Did he felt abandoned? Did he feel like his family was paying more attention to maybe the daughter and he felt left out? He talked a lot about, his father being this mega person, very famous, and he didn't know where his place was. Was that weighing on him? Could that have been really what? Because even when he was talking about the movie, it's all about Charlie, whatever the movie was. Even, when I was looking at him talking with his father and really talking about even enjoying the time with his father, doing the movie with him, his eyes were very sad. Go back to that interview. Look at his eyes. Look at Nick's eyes. His eyes are very, very sad. And I just feel like there's more there that they're not talking about. Kind of like, Sebastian Rogers. Like, I feel like there's just something there that nobody is talking about. Hey, Damien, thank you for becoming the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. I don't know. I feel like there's something that everybody knows happened, but nobody's talking about. Okay. I don't know why I feel like that in this case, but I just feel like that in this case because we see a clear, it appears that this boy is normal, little, loud. We're learning about how he was a very rambunctious young boy, interrupted a lot, when his mom was at yoga and stuff like that, interrupted a lot, ran around, just a very energetic boy. He may even have been on the spectrum a little bit, we don't know. That at that time when he was born 30 years ago, there wasn't a lot of talk about that stuff, But he's seen, for the most part, very energetic, like a normal, rambunctious boy. Okay, he's a boy. Boys are rambunctious. Okay, they don't need ADHD medication because they're rambunctious. They just come rambunctious. Okay, folks. If you have a doctor telling you that your 8-year-old child needs to be medicated, you're wrong. Wait until they get 15. Guys. I don't care. I'm sorry. I just have problems with the medication of young kids. I know that doctors tell you need to do this. I have a problem with medicating young children. Regular regimens of medication. I'm sorry. I just do. I do. I know some people say that they have autism, and I'm sure that they do and everything like that. But just, I don't like drugs in our kids. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I'd like to know that they're a little older when they have them. You guys don't realize you're starting children as a child on drugs that they're going to have to be on for the rest of their life. Do you have any idea what it's doing to their kidneys or liver? Or whether they're going to make it past 65. We don't know what. I'm sorry. None of these drugs have been tested for hundreds of years because we haven't been around for hundreds of years. And I just have a lot of problems with the drugs and the kids. Okay, I really do. I just have a lot of problems with it. I sometimes feel like people can't handle children. And so they take them to a doctor and they pill them out until they're just like, until they don't do anything, And I'm not saying that. I know we have autism and there is medication that kids have to have on autism. I get that. And I know that autism, there's lack of sleeping and you got to have sleep. I get that. I don't want this to come down on people, and I don't want to get a whole bunch of nasty grams in my inbox about this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there are a lot of children that parents, they got a kid that's very disruptive, running around all the time. They just need playtime. They need ball time. They need outdoor time. And parents just don't have the energy for all of that. And instead of realizing they've got a very rambunctious child, they think there's something wrong with their child because their child won't sit still, not knowing that children just don't sit still. So they go to a doctor. Doctor is now getting $50 a month kickback from a medication that they're going to put this child on for autism that costs $250 or ADHD that costs $250 that has your child going, just so you don't have to deal with a rambunctious child. I have a problem with that. That's what I have a problem with. So if you're offended by my statements, then maybe that's what you did. Okay? If you're not offended by my statements, then it doesn't affect you. You know that you're doing what's right for your child. But there are some parents out there, I'm sorry, I totally believe take their children to the doctor and their doctor does what they want. And they end up putting them on some medication that really wears them down. And the child doesn't want to be on that medication. And mind you, they're so young, their brains are developing. Now they're on this medication, their brains are developing on this medication. So when they come off this medication, an adult, their brains are messed up. Because you decided to add chemicals to their brain that was developing. I mean, I just wish people would start really thinking about what they're doing. That's all. If you've thought it through, you've done your research, and this is the right stuff for you, not because your doctor tells you to, but because you've made an informed decision, then that's the only time you should be putting medication in your child. Okay? But please do your research. Please do your research. That's all I'm asking. My kid's doctor, thankfully, does not believe in medication. Because most real doctors don't, because the reason why I think like that, random, is because doctors told me that. Doctors are the ones that told me that. When I was talking, because we've had a lot of cases where we've asked, that we've had to deal with some of this and some of that. And so when we start doing the research, I've actually reached out to doctors, and there's been doctors that said that they will not put a child on medication until after they're 13 or 14, and even depending on what it is, they won't get it until they're an adult, because especially in the puberty area, like you have adolescent stuff, and that's where they're starting to get in with the ADHD stuff. But also when you start they're also hitting you again with the manic depression shit, between 12 and 15, because you're going through puberty, which is a manic depressive moment. It doesn't mean you're manic depression or even have it. It's just, it's a side effect of puberty. Okay. And it's like these people are acting like none of this stuff, this is not normal. And it absolutely 100% is normal. And because they're telling people it's not normal, what do they prescribe for things that aren't normal? Oh, that's right, a pill. Right, that's right. A pill. Big pharma. Do you know that we are the most medicated country in the world? Why? Why are other countries, do you think it's our air? No. You think it's our water? No. It's called manipulation, folks. What other country has a pill for frickin' everything? Sometimes it's just life. But life doesn't put money in a doctor's pocket, okay? Medication does. So, all right, guys. So that's kind of my spiel on that. What's going to happen with Rob Reiner? We're still trying to figure out. You know, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop because, one, this is a liberal family, and I know you guys go, quit saying that, Betty, quit saying that. But it's because they live a different lifestyle. They're a Hollywood family, so they have more of a propensity for immoral lifestyle. And while a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they have, you know, they're best friends with their other children, that statement was prepared for those other children. That wasn't a handwritten statement by those children. It could have been from their own, from the Reiner's own publishing company or publicist or whatever the case may be. Okay, so let's stop with the madness. Let's stop with the madness and let's talk turkey. A happy family doesn't produce kids that murder parents. Okay, so there's obviously some underbelly stuff in this family. That's what common sense tells me, that this is not, you know, pink bows and butterflies in the Reiner family. They had some serious problems that they were keeping from the world until it boiled over, and now we have two parents that have been murdered, and a son that's sitting in prison or in jail right now with no bond or a $4 million bond. Is the family going to pony up the $4 million and get him out on bond? I don't know. The family definitely has the means to do it. It sounds like the parents, if they didn't lose their life, they would have done it. So what is Jake and Romy going to do? I don't know. I would think that they're going to be the one that has the ultimate say. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be the one that gets the bulk of the estate. You know, and what was this all over? I guess is the question. A lot of people are going to try to say it's about money. I don't believe this is about money. I believe this is something so much more. So much more. And I think it's going to come down to, in the reality, what as screwed up as it is, none of this is going to make sense to us. Okay. This is definitely never going to make sense to us. But I think what we're ultimately going to find, potentially, in this particular case, is that something happened to Nick. And no matter how much, you know, whether it was, you know, he felt a loss, maybe somebody died in the family and his family wasn't there for his grieving, or, you know, there was some type of resentment there for his parents, no matter what. And obviously the resentment started stemming from his teenage years. So what happened? Was he essayed? Was he abused? Was there a fight between him and his parents that just ended that relationship on a emotional level? I feel like something had to have happened to to Nick to make him act this way. Point blank, that's just how I believe. I believe something happened to him at 15. I don't know what it was. But he hated his parents. And his parents, no matter how much he tried to talk to his parents weren't listening. And I think he just went deeper and deeper into a depression, deeper into drugs. He ended up going in and out of because he was trying to fill a hole that wasn't being filled as a teenager. Okay? As a teenager, as a 15-year-old boy. Okay, you're talking about a 15-year-old boy that has no money. How is he getting substances? Okay, so there was so much in the control of the mom and dad at this age, yet he was still out of control. There was something going on in that household. Okay, there's just something. I don't know what, but there was something. And that has manifest to what we are here for today. That is my true opinion. I don't know what it is. I'm waiting to find it. When I hear it, when the story does start surfacing and I hear it, I'll know. That's it. That was the change. This is it. This happened because whatever has happened 17 years ago, folks. 17 or 18 years ago. Okay? What killed Rob and his wife happened 17 years ago. Okay? I just want you guys to understand that. That is truly what we're going to end up finding out, in my opinion. I was prescribed and slept 16 hours a day and still was so groggy when I forced. Yeah, and that's what I found out. My cousin, my aunt and uncle did the same thing to my cousin, and he was a mess. He was a mess. He was a mess, and he didn't like it. He told me that the reason why he stopped doing it is because nobody would listen to him, and he didn't like it. He said he felt like he was tranquilized the entire time. He didn't feel right. I mean, nobody wants to feel like unless you want to feel how is that helping? I don't know. I don't want to criticize, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating. All right, guys, the last segment of the day is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's a 15-year-old boy that disappeared from inside his locked home, and he was never seen again. He went inside that locked home with only his mother, and never walked in and never walked out. So it's always been ultra suspicious, but that's not been what has been suspicious. You guys watched what the family did to me. I was out there under the request of the father to help find information that might help derive some leads for his son, and also to cover the case in a journalistic aspect. So I was wearing a journalistic hat and an activist and advocate hat on during this trip, and I was interchanging those processes throughout the day. So I was, doing things in a journalistic aspect, but then I would be doing things in a activist and advocate aspect as well, right? And a volunteer aspect, like posting the flyers on the signs and what the case may be. But they harassed me the whole time I was there, even though I never talked to them, never went by their, knocked on their door, never went and tried to get their attention, never went and asked them for interviews or questioned them or even wanted any of their time. I didn't want to see them. I just wanted to do my job and get out of there. But you guys saw what I went through from doing that. Well, there were other people there as well that were also searching. And one thing that was very noticeable is that somebody was always following the searchers. I was followed by Terry Bowersox. We don't know who Evil was followed by, but we know that he was followed. We heard that his serpentine belt was cut, and we heard that it was a white SUV, and multiple people were complaining about a white SUV following them home from court hearings with me, from all this other stuff. We have literally evidence of this white SUV. And this white SUV looks very similar to a vehicle that none other than Kathy Bowersox purchased back in 2017. Now, is this vehicle still around? You know what? Was it traded in when she got her Infinity? I don't know. Like in my family, when our family gets different cars, they usually give the other car to a family member. She's got a lot of grandchildren, so maybe she gave this to a grandchild, or she worked for a second generation. Maybe second generation actually purchased this for her as being their favorite employee. And, maybe she, you don't know. You don't know. But this right here looks very similar to the kind of vehicle that has been following multiple people around town while searches were underway. Well, I personally didn't see this particular vehicle because I wasn't followed by a white vehicle. I was followed by Terry Bowersox himself. It always, rang questions. Where did this vehicle come from, and why are these people following all the searchers around? Well, this is going back to Evil. Evil is a person that did, search for Sebastian. But in the cemetery, he was in the cemetery looking for any evidence that maybe Sebastian had wandered in there, or maybe somebody took him in there, right? This was the time that a white vehicle was following him. And that white vehicle, he believes, slit his serpentine belt. So we're going to go back here to, maybe this.
Time-consuming and difficult they are to make. Thank you for watching. Credit to Evil, CJ, and Narcotic Divers. Here is your Cliff Notes version of their live on September 20.
Okay.
It's crazy looking at it right now, dude, from the bird's eye going, damn. Oh, you got it. Yeah, that's exactly where that's it.
So you see where they are up here on the vertical. Really, you see where they search.
Check the other side of underneath the.
And you guys bridge. Can't see it.
Obviously, we didn't need to check that because it's just wide.
And then you guys see where.
I'm gonna show you guys where we were at and where that car was at. Take a screenshot. It's crazy when I'm looking at it from here, man.
The one backside was like 2 miles, and that was just that section. So, give or take, I'd say at least 4 miles worth of back and forth.
Hey, Michelle.
We did the bottom of the T, and then we had to fix the car, and then we did the top of the T, basically. I'm going to show you guys what we were talking about, right? So, we were about, I think we were over here, because there was like the fence, I think the fence kind of went like in the middle.
They kind of opened up a little bit, I think.
To the right. Well, that's right there. That's when this is the spot where we made it right here. We were walking down here. Because Trey was going to go to the right, I was going to go to the left, and then we were going to kind of zigzag and then meet. And as we were right here, that's when we seen the guy sitting literally right there. He was sitting at the top of this drive right here. So
I think my next question is who is following all the searchers around? Clearly, law enforcement is not doing it, right? Because if law enforcement had time to follow us around, well, they could follow Chris and Katie around, now couldn't they? And they're not doing that because they're not doing anything but shoving this right up their butt, right? They're sitting on their hands. They're sitting on their hands and playing tickle with their starfish. It is disgusting what law enforcement is not doing for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers right now. And it's also disgusting that so many people, so many searchers like me and CJ that have gone out there, and we have come into problems with the Proudfoots, threatening, following, stalking, and trying to cause harm to us personally or our personal property. And this had gone on and gone on. It still goes on to this day when it comes to Chris and Katie Proudfoot and the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They actually lied under oath and lied in court under oath about me threatening them with a gun and a machete. To the point that my attorney made me literally go through almost 700 videos and pull transcripts so he could search them. And I had to put them all in an Excel spreadsheet. Not one time were they ever threatened. They will never, ever, 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 ever be able to even reproduce even one possible statement that even sounds like a threat to them. So they lied. They absolutely 100% lied under oath in order to throw me in jail to intimidate me. They sliced CJ's serpentine belt. These people are violent people, and they have something to hide because who else would do this to run off searchers? Chris and Katie are violent, in my opinion. Chris has absolutely, for factual, threatened to run me over with his truck if I'm in the road. Okay? His stepfather stalked me in a Sam's parking lot And I got out and screamed at them. They tried to say I was stalking them when I had a camera going literally for 3.5 hours of every single movement. And you can tell that it wasn't me, but you can absolutely tell he was circling me like a freaking shark. I didn't even know he was there. It was my audience that told me about it after the fact. And when I realized he came behind me again, that was when because I had no idea he was following me. I just saw him come up behind the car. It wasn't until later that you guys went back to my video and pulled all the stuff showing where he was following me. That was from all of you. I did not know. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. So we know where the threats are coming from. It's not to Chris and Katie Proudfoot. It's from Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And the only reason why they were ever talking about threats, in my opinion, was so that they could threaten other people and act like, oh, well, we're getting threats too. To try to throw, because they're very, very strategic. Remember, they're military. Strategy, strategy, strategy. What do you think the 3-hour conversation was? They're military trained. They're military trained. So what we're hearing is that it was a white vehicle. It was a white vehicle. It was a white vehicle. Erin Courtner, one of the ladies that come to my court hearings, she's recorded a white vehicle similar to this vehicle here following her. There were other people that came to courts that also took video footage of a white vehicle like this, also following them from church. These people wanted to know where all these people lived. Why would anybody want to know where these people lived that went to court for me and with me? Why? They stalked these people. The Proudfoot and their clan stalked our residents. That's a crime. I hope that if you guys go to any courts with me and you see a white vehicle or any vehicle following you, you take a picture of the vehicle and the license plate if you can. If you feel it's following you, you pull straight over. Record the car going by you. They're not going to pull over behind you. And if they do, lock your doors and call law enforcement. Have them arrested. Have them arrested. We're going to start teaching you guys how to take care of yourselves out there in this crazy world. All right, guys, I really do appreciate you bending my ear. We're not gonna, I told you at the beginning, we weren't gonna dive too heavily into Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case because we do an afternoon case update, and we will be doing that this afternoon. I'm going to try this afternoon and try a different way of getting us into that short. We'll try to toggle this on my side. We'll try to toggle this on my side to do that short and see if we can get it to do it. If not, then if not, right? So I appreciate all you guys being here, all the ones that chose to help out and throw a super chat or super sticker out. Thank you guys so very much for everything. Did Betty find out about the best friend? I did not. I know what you're talking about now. It took me a second. I had to go ching 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 ching. There it is. No, I know what you're talking about. You wanted to know when Lori showed up. I haven't called Seth to answer, but this week I have been completely consumed by end of the year meetings, county meetings. So I'm really behind the 8 ball. I wanted Jules on the show this week, and obviously that went to the wayside. I haven't had a chance to ask about the best friend or when she arrived at the house to the best recollection of Seth. I will try to get all that done between today and Monday if I can. Call Jules and call Seth. Okay, I'll try to get that done in the next, 72 hours, and we'll get some information. And then that'll be another talking point about Lori. But I would like to get in here maybe early part of next week and get Jules plugged in and talk to her about the dogs. I'd like to close up the dogs story first because we're still kind of in limbo with the dogs. There was some information about the dogs, and I'd like to know about how, what her opinion is. And I'll have to, I'll ask her online, but, I really want to hone in on what her opinion is because, I want to see if she believes that the lights video is a reflection, or she thinks that they're the lying best friend. Yeah, we know best friends will cover each other's ass because I won't lie to you. I mean, you don't want, if I need my best friend to verbally lie for me, she's going to verbally lie for me. Okay, I'll tell you that. I'm sorry. If something was push comes to shove, she's going to lie, or she's just not going to say. She may take the high road and just not answer. Or just act or change the subject. She's very good. We're both very, very, very good. So, but yeah, I think a lot of people are concerned with the best friend because many of our best friends are the same way. They're willing to do just about anything. They're not willing to help drag the dead body, but, anything other than that, they're willing to do, So, that's where we're at. And I mean, the reason why I keep saying dragging a dead, it has nothing to do with true crime or anything we did. If you don't know, I went to school to become a paralegal, and there were a few things that was drilled into our mind, and it was location, deny, and drag the dead body in. Okay, so if you don't think they talk like that in school, they absolutely do talk like that in school. So when I'm talking about the dead body or whatever, it has nothing to do with Sebastian case. It has nothing to do with true crime. It's a saying. It's a saying. So that's kind of where I am. Like even with like the best friend knows where all the dead bodies are. It's proverbial. It's not like there's physical dead bodies in a field somewhere that I'm a serial killer or my best friend knows. It's a figure of speech, maybe a horrible figure of speech, but it's a figure of speech that we are accustomed to in this country because not everybody's in true crime. It just is what it metaphorically. Thank you, Sandwich. Metaphorically, exactly. So anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your replay crew if you guys are on the replay crew. And if you guys would like to, please pass this on. We clip it up. If you guys found a segment that you'd like to clip and put out there, clip it up, get it out there. Bring some people over to the Bullhorn Betty channel. We've been working very, very hard. We keep everything as factual as possible. We have our opinions. We let you guys know our opinions. And sometimes our opinions offend people. There's nothing I can do with that. I'm never going to change who I am, okay? This leopard does not change her spots, okay? So what you see is what you get. If you don't like it, this ain't the channel for you. If you kind of like it, then keep hanging out. If you love it, keep coming back, right? So that's how we roll over here. You guys take care. God bless, and we'll see you soon.